Several years ago, I went to a church and I visited there a number of times, and they had a fabulous deaf ministry. And one of the ladies that did the sign language was so great. It wasn't like she was doing sign language. She was just dancing. It was just dance. I mean, she used to sign to the songs, and she could just go with the songs. It was fabulous. And I had a chance to talk with one of the congregants who had a hearing impairment. And she told me a story. She said that she had been to church for years, and she was able to read lips pretty well. But she knew that there were times when she wasn't getting the full message. And the reason why she came to that particular church was because one day they had a preacher, and they had somebody who was doing sign language. And she said that when the preacher preached, the person who was doing the sign language did the sign language. And she said that a big light went off in her head because she finally got it. She said that she was able to connect with what was going on in the Bible in a wonderful new way because she could hear what was being said. She could hear what the message was. It went just not into her ears, come on somebody, but it went into her heart. And so we are just so grateful, amen, for the opportunity to focus in on hearing today. And this is a message whether you hear with your physical ears, whether you hear with a hearing aid, whether you hear with a computer-aided hearing, whether you hear with sign language. This is about hearing from the Lord. Amen, amen. And what is interesting, I have learned, I did a little bit of research. Did you know that our hearts have ears? Our hearts have ears. Of course, I don't mean this literally, but in fact, the state of our heart can affect the way we hear. Our mood and our attitude can affect the way we hear. Now, you know this to be true because you've got friends who, when they are broke down, busted, and disgusted, it's like they can't even hear a word of encouragement. Amen? But then on the other hand, you've got people who are so happy that they can't even hear any wisdom. Come on, somebody. They're just happy fools, right? But when we have a kind of a positive outlook, we have a tendency to process what we hear differently. Amen? And when people are sad or angry or frustrated or shut down emotionally, they don't hear quite as well. And there have been some studies where they've taken people who have self-identified as happy, and they can hear things better. They have a better ability to hear than people who self-identify as depressed or sad. Our hearts have ears. And maybe, just maybe, this is one of the reasons the Bible talks so much about our emotions. Maybe the Bible talks about our pride, our anger, our frustration, our greed, our lust, our envy, because those emotions actually can block or impair our ability to hear what God is saying. Did you ever think that your attitude might be preventing you from hearing what God has to say? Amen. As long as we are focused on greed and I've got to get mine and you better get yours, amen. As long as we're focused in on that, then maybe it's hard for us to hear when God says be generous and be a generous giver. Amen. And so today we want to focus in on that a little bit more because our mood and our attitude can affect the way we hear.